Hey everyone, so in this Fusion tutorial, I'm going to be showing you two different ways to draw the exact same item. Now, the only reason why I'm doing this is to show you the differences in using an extrude and a revolve command to create the exact same item. So let's get started. So first of all, we're going to start off with the extrude command to create the base of the light. Then we're going to switch to the tube, and then we're going to switch to the top, and then we'll flip on over to the revolve command to create the exact same thing. So let's get going. So first things first, I'm going to select the top view here on the view cube, press C for circle, and select my plane. Now, in this case, the diameter of the base is 4 inches. And I'm going to press Finish Sketch, and then holding down the Shift button and the middle mouse wheel allows me to move around. Alternatively, if I was in the top view, I could always click on this edge here. Personal preference, you do what works best for you. Now we're going to press E to extrude, and we're going to pull this up 2 inches. Now we need to cut the internals out. So we can press C for circle, click on the top of the circle, and find the center, and we're going to want to come out 3.5 inches, and the base of our light is 3.25 inches. So we can press C again, and we can go 3.25 and hit enter. Now what we can do is we can press the E to extrude, and we can select, it doesn't really matter the order, but we'll just start with this guy here. And it comes down negative 0.5 inches, and you'll notice that it's cut out the material that was there. That's what we want. Then we can press E again, and we can go negative 1.5 inches and hit enter. So now what we've literally done is we have created the base for our light. Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. Now what we can do is we can press C for circle, and we're going to want to select this lip right here. And I'm going to switch back to the top view. Now, there's two ways that we can do this. For the purposes of teaching you, I'm going to go O for offset, and I'm going to select this line here, and I'm going to go negative 0.125 and hit enter. So what that did is it took this edge here and pulled it in. Now, obviously, you could have just drawn a circle there, but for the purposes of showing this off, I figure that's an easier way. So now we can press E to extrude. We want to click on here, and we want to pull this up 12 inches. Now you'll notice it automatically defaults to the join command. We don't want to do that. We want to switch to new body and hit OK. So what this did is instead of making these together, it's made them as two separate components. This will come in handy because, say, the tube is going to be clear polycarbonate or acrylic. We don't want that connected to the bases. We want that to be separate. Also, if you're going to do rendering, which I will show you very quick, here's how to visualize what it would look like in a few minutes, you can do that as well. But the main thing is we don't want those to be connected. So now we can switch back to the top view here, click on the top, go to top view, find our center point, and we can come out 4 inches. And then what we can do is we can press E to extrude, and we can pull this guy down negative 0.5. And as before, we want to do it as a new body and hit OK. Now, we want to actually turn off the middle tube for the moment. Then we can click on the triangle here and turn back on sketch number 4. Hit E to extrude. Click on the middle, this and that. And we can come up 0.5 and hit enter, turn off the sketch, and hey presto, we have our light. Now let's give this more of a realistic appearance very quickly by pressing the A button, which calls up the appearance tab. We can go down to plastic, and in this case, to simulate the closest to the flexible material that I used would be nylon 6/6. So we'll just set that there, and we'll set that there. Then we can come down to transparent, and we can click on polycarbonate clear, or you could really do any of the colors that are there, and hit close. So now we have created the light very easily. And you can also see now that these are separate materials, you can see what it would look like. Now, I'm just touching on this for the purposes of if you want to mess around, but you can press on the fillet command and you can start adding some nice visual beveling to the items. Hit enter. You can mess around with it. I personally recommend doing that. Whoops. I didn't want to do that actually. You can mess around with that if you want. The main thing is I'm just trying to show you two different ways to do this. Now let's work on drawing this exact same item using the Revolve command. So we're just going to keep this sketch up and we're going to click on the middle here. We're going to go back into the front view, but this time I actually don't want to draw it directly on the center. I'm actually going to come over to the side here so we can have the two side by side. And we're going to be drawing half the profile of the light in one sketch. So obviously our base would be 4 divided by 2, or 2 inches. We want to pull it up 2 inches. Whoops, there we go. Now we also need to come along and make this distance 0.25. Then we want to pull this down 0.5. Whoops, I didn't draw that line. I want to pull that guy down 0.5 of an inch. There we go. Then we come over here, 0.125. Then we come down with this 1.5. Whoops. That was supposed to be 1.25. Then we come over with this. Go over. And you'll notice what I did here is I drug my mouse down and then drug it up so it snaps to that distance there and go down, and there we have it. So here is our very basic side profile, and if you look at this, you'll see that they look just about the same, which is perfect. Now what we need to do is we need to draw the tube itself. So you can press R for rectangle. We can select that point and snap over. Alternatively, we can use the tab key to go between. We can go 0.125, tab over and type in 12 and hit enter. And now we can zoom out and draw the top. So now we can draw a line from here down 0.5 of an inch. We can go over 0.25 of an inch. We can come up 1 inch. We can go across 2 inches, come down 0.5 of an inch, and come across to there. Now you got to make sure that all of your sketches are closed, otherwise this command will not work. So there we have it. There is the side profile of the 3 components that made up our light that you see there on the left. So we can hit Finish Sketch. We're going to click on Revolve, and I'm going to select the top and the bottom plane, pieces I mean. Then for the axis, we're going to want to select this right here. If we had built this around the origin, we could have used that as well, but that would not have worked for this. Then we can hit OK. We can turn back on our sketch, and we can click on Revolve again, do that as the profile. And now this time, now that we have this existing geometry, the cool thing is both of these share the same center point. Therefore, they share the same vertical axis. So I can just click on that, and hey presto, I've got my circle. But don't forget to make it a new body as well. Then we can hit OK. We can do our very simple appearance again. Make the middle clear. Make the top. Make the bottom. Whoops. Drug that too fast. Make the bottom the nylon 6/6, close that out, and there we go. Now, the only difference in building these is it took all of this to create the left-hand sketch, and it took all of that to create the right-hand sketch. Now, if you're starting out initially and you're kind of mucking about, actually using the left-hand method is not a bad idea of doing it. If you already know how to do it and you're trying to go back and condense the drawing down because you've extrapolated whatever dimensions you needed or you already know the dimensions, using the revolve command is actually a much more efficient manner of doing it. Also, the advantage of using revolve is, let's say I wanted to add a nice fillet to this edge, and I'm not even worrying about what the actual dimensions are. I'm just typing in something that looks nice. Throw that in there. And you know what? We'll throw on something nice down here as well. Hit enter. Finish the sketch. Now all of a sudden, our parts have that nice cosmetic touch to them, but I didn't have to go ahead and come over to the drawing and press F and then individually add them if they were different sizes. They were automatically there. Now, the one other advantage is I'm going to create a very simple texture on here using circles. So I'm going to go 0.125, press T to trim, and I'm going to add a fillet between here and there of 0.125. Yeah, we'll do that. Now you notice it took away the line that's there, so we can draw in a new line here. And then we'll do a fillet there as well, 0.125. Now, one other thing we'll use very quick is we'll use rectangular pattern, and we'll select these. I'm going to do a video on this more in the future, so if you don't fully understand, don't panic. This is just for demonstration's sake. And we'll make it spacing, and then we'll make it like 5 of them. There we go. So now we've created a side texture, and if we go back to our initial revolve, you can select those as well. We might want to turn off that. There we go. Sometimes when you're doing revolve, you have to deselect the axis, or it won't let you select individual components. Go back, select our axis, hit OK. And now we very, very easily put this really cool texture on the bottom with very minimal effort. If we were to try and do it on here, it'd be a lot more complex. We'd have to create planes or move and copy stuff. So there's a really good example of why using revolve for a round object, especially something that's going to have some texture on it, is actually the better way to go. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you want to check out the video of me building the parts for this light project, albeit a different version done by a classmate, I'll have a card that'll pop out to that as well. And I'll see you here next time on Make It with Calvin.